Today I want to talk about video games and the skills of the people who play them. Now I'm speaking this in the perspective of someone who just loves to cheat on video games, and I suck at every RPG game ever made. I suck at a lot of video games, and if you give me any of the NES classics, I would just die every single time. I'm not the sort of person that can give an accurate opinions on those things. But today, we're introduced in an entirely different level of suck. This level of suck is so special that people are starting to meme it and consider it a difficulty even lower than the easiest. It's called the video game journalist difficulty. Do you know why game journalists love narrative-driven video games a lot more than your average action games? Well, when you give them actual action games, here's how they play it. Yup, that's right. That's how Polygon plays Doom. It's so horrendous, I don't even know why Polygon decided that it is a good idea to publish this. And this is a little bit of gameplay in Cuphead by VentureBeat. Now, I'm not saying that you should be a pro MLG player to play these games, but a certain amount of competence is required to play some of these games. If you suck at games, that's fine, but there's the issue of you sucking and you're working in a publication that talks about video games. This will make the things that you write, especially reviews, to have its integrity, honesty, and accuracy compromised. It's like working in a site who reviews movies, but only reviews the first 5 minutes of it because you couldn't even be bothered to sit on a theater chair. Your legitimacy is compromised if that is the case. So a lot of you already know that I did a 1 hour 30 minutes live stream watching the entire playthrough of VentureBeat's gameplay of Cuphead, which is probably one of the most painful experiences that I've had to get through. Oh, shoot it. Okay, there we go. Good. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it! Why do you have to jump over it? Come on, man. Shoot it. Shoot it. There we go. Shoot it. Shoot it. What? Shoot that thing. You have to avoid it. You don't have to jump over it. It's not Mario. It's not Mario, okay? There we go. Keep shooting it. You don't do it as a Mario. My God. How many times that you can't learn from your mistakes, man. Oh my God. Don't jump into the enemies. Don't go directly to the enemies, man. Oh my God. I'm not prepared for this. All right, get to there, get to there. Jesus Christ. Okay, that mushroom in there is going to shoot you. Okay, you stay there. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Oh my. Okay, there's a mushroom in there. You have to be careful. Watch it. Don't move to the enemy. My God, you're... How low is your freaking reflex time, man? Okay, what did that tulip do, though? The full version of the stream is in the description, which also includes the raw footage of the gameplay that gains tons and tons of dislikes. A lot of people in the chat have basically predicted that there are going to be articles defending these sorts of behaviors. And oh my God, they were right. They were absolutely freaking spot on. Cuphead reignites the game journalist should be good at games debate. They don't have to be extremely good. They just need to be competent in playing the games. And unfortunately, Dean's gameplay footage of Cuphead shows how incredibly inept he is on his video games. His ineptitude shows a huge compromise on your legitimacy as a video game site covering video games. The one thing that I want to know is, how are you going to excuse this ineptitude? Because frankly, if someone is being that incompetent on gaming as a gaming journalist, I would fire them straight up. Oh, am I a horrible person for firing a game journalist who cannot play video games? Am I a horrible person for firing a journalist who cannot read?
Mostly everyone who has played Cuphead has mentioned its high level of difficulty. A side-scrolling run-and-gun game, it occupies a genre built to challenge the player, throwing waves of enemies at them and forcing them to think on their toes. It's a game that requires the player to be fully engaged with it, exhibiting quick reaction times and multitasking between jumping across platforms, avoiding both the enemies and their gunfire.
And guess what? He failed. He failed spectacularly on those basic aspects of the game. Do you understand the issue at hand? Or are you just going to dodge it?
Rather than being viewed as a funny half-hour struggle by one of the writers, the video has instead been used to undermine game journalism as a whole. The end result has seen both trolls and prominent personalities surrounding the games industry to vilify Takahashi, who has worked in tech and game journalism for 25 years, even though the article accompanying the video saw him poking fun at his own lack of ability during the play session.
Oh, well, the article makes fun of him sucking, therefore that's okay. No, VentureBeat is a publication who is supposed to be respectable and trustworthy, but they have managed to successfully compromise their trustworthiness thanks to that gameplay footage. The reason is simple. They decided to employ someone who cannot play video games. It's like employing someone who doesn't know what medicines are to become a doctor. And you know how else they're capable of compromising their trustworthiness? By spreading misinformation, saying that the game developer of this game is the same as Super Meat Boy when that isn't the case. Even if I can forgive the ineptitude of his gameplay video, that is a terrible critical research failure. It has been corrected, which is nice, but that only solves one out of the many critical failures that game journalists have, and that is the inability of playing video games. Again, the issue here is that your views on video games is compromised when you can't even play the damn thing. The issue is your integrity, your trustworthiness, and the validity of your view. I don't know about you, but I do not trust someone who writes about video games that cannot even use the controller. This isn't a common unintentional error which everybody makes from time to time. This is like an illiterate having a job in journalism. Do you want that level of ineptitude in your work, Mr. Game Journalist?
Despite Takahashi never presenting the footage as an adept Cuphead preview, the criticisms came pouring in. On Twitter, the Daily Caller journalist Ian Mouse Chung clipped the opening segment of the video and included the caption, "Game journalists are incredibly bad at video games. It's painful to watch this. How do they think they're qualified to write about games?" The post received over 30,000 interactions, including a plethora of comments also condemning game journalism on the whole. Easy, they watch YouTube gaming videos and write BS without even playing the game, popular YouTuber Keemstar replied. Game journalists are a joke, another user added.
So with that, the writer has two problems. The first one is Ian criticized game journalists for sucking at video games even though he is also a game journalist. Which is a rather moot point. That was just you putting an ad hominem at him. The second one is basically a hashtag not all. Okay, hashtag not all game journalists are like this. I'm willing to accept the argument for just this moment. Now, let's get to talk about VentureBeat's credibility because that's the one at stake here. That is the one that is being hugely compromised thanks to the gameplay video. No? Well, what else is there to talk about? He fully admitted that he sucked at this game, but it's not the kind of suck that is even remotely tolerable. It's the kind of suck that is the equivalent of not being able to read. Again, the main point is that the writer's legitimacy on writing about video games is hugely compromised. Let's please focus on that issue. Can you at least understand why or how people can find your legitimacy to be compromised? But then there's another article in French, but thankfully Google Translate is able to translate it nicely. This article basically blames the gamers on having an elitist culture. So apparently asking for some standards is being an elitist. What else is there in your queue of insults, game journalists? This isn't gamers being a smug elitist prick. This is just us asking for you to have some standards, have some basic understandings of how to play video games. Are you saying that we shouldn't have any sort of basic understanding of playing video games in order to have an opinion on video games? Are you kidding me? That's like saying a writer shouldn't be able to read. Are you nuts? Are you basically going to pull off the same garbage that Marvel employees pulled? One of the article's suggestion is to literally stop the skill shaming. Oh my god. No, just no. With this amount of ineptitude, the only way for you to improve is if we skill shame you. And if you don't like it, sorry. You're going to hear it from me, other gamers, and so many other people who are frustrated by your incompetence. You can go ahead and insult the gamers all they want. Call these people racist, sexist, misogynistic gamergators, which is fucking irrelevant, or even imply that they're terrible human beings, because why not? Keep up the insults, the name calling. Keep calling us a bunch of elitist pricks, or even better, call us online bullies. My god, this entire thing reeks of Amy's Baking Company all over again.
I have issues with customers that are trying to be online bullies and say horrible things.
Online bullies?
They're online bullies and write things that are not true. They write that I have store-bought dough. They write that things are frozen. I understand that, but those things are not true.
All you can do at this very moment is just insult your audiences and have a temper tantrum. You can't justify your ineptitude, so might as well insult your critics, right? I'm no longer going to point out to Gamergate and examples of bad journalistic practices. I think this speaks more volumes to the common gamers who don't know anything about Gamergate. I'm just gonna have Gordon Ramsay to say what I have to say.
I can't help people that can't help themselves and cannot ever take 1 ounce of criticism.
There, that's all we're asking. Do you see my point now? That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me on Patreon. And thanks for watching.